Live, local, late breaking. This is WLKY News at 11.
Right now, we're all in shock.
A city confronts a violent day.
I wasn't going to give him the opportunity to load and shoot me and my wife.
A busy shopping center becomes a crime scene once a gunman shoots and kills two people.
We miss you, and life's not going to be the same.
That's going to be with him the rest of his entire life.
Forced to comprehend the incomprehensible.
This is real. This is not just a dream.
I forgive him because God told me to do, but I just hope he come to an understanding that what life is all about.
Today, police solidify their timeline. A suspect faces his charges, and a community
Let's bring humanity back.
Tries to find a way to heal.
This moved me. This was a beautiful thing.
We're just trying to understand what happened and why he did what he did.
Good evening to you. I'm Rick Van Hoos.
I'm Vicki Dortz. It's been just over a day since shots rang out in the Jeffersontown Kroger. In that time, what has happened has started to become clear.
But why someone would go into a grocery store and shoot people now hangs over the city. Jeffersontown police say that they received the first 911 call at 2:54 Wednesday afternoon. Within 4 minutes, police arrived and arrested the suspect, 51-year-old Gregory Bush. Officers found the body of 69-year-old Maurice Stollard inside the Kroger and the body of 67-year-old Vicki Lee Jones in the parking lot. It was a sprawling crime scene stretching from the back of the store, spilling into the parking lot where bullets left their mark and yellow crime tape seemed to go forever. Minutes before the first shot was fired at the Kroger, the First Baptist Church of Jeffersontown, 2 miles away, says security footage spotted Gregory Bush trying to get in there. The reason still unknown. Authorities interviewed more than 100 people but have not discovered why he targeted regular citizens simply shopping at a grocery store.
Today, we're learning more about the two victims, Vicki Jones and Maurice Stollard. She was killed in the parking lot. He was gunned down while shopping with his 12-year-old grandson.
Tonight, loved ones were joined by complete strangers in honoring the lives that ended so tragically yesterday afternoon. WLKY's Lauren Adams is live outside the Stony Brook Kroger where a vigil was held. Lauren, how were those victims remembered tonight?
Rick, absolutely with love, even by friends and strangers alike. And I got to tell you, what we witnessed here tonight was nothing short of incredible. The vigil was held here in this parking lot. Keep in mind, this was part of a crime scene just about 24 hours ago. And during that 24 hours, Rick, Vicki, there has been such an outpouring of support. Case in point, take a look here behind me. There are flowers, there are cards, there are candles. And here in Jeffersontown, little signs of compassion like that show no sign of stopping.
This is what we are about. What happened here is not what we're about. And
One day after a gunman opened fire at the Stony Brook Kroger, more than 100 people, many strangers, returned to honor the two lives lost. Kevin Gunn came looking for comfort. And despite standing in the very parking lot where his aunt, Vicki Jones, had been shot and killed Wednesday afternoon, he says he found it.
This helped to renew my faith in human kindness. This moved me. This was a beautiful thing.
Maurice Stollard, who had been shopping with his grandson for a science project when he was shot and killed, was also remembered. A dedicated family man, according to those that knew him, who volunteered for years as a Boy Scout troop leader and T-ball coach.
This was the father of the neighborhood. He took people in, coached everybody up.
Earlier in the day, Stallard's family admitted they were still looking for answers. Police said Thursday the suspect, Gregory Bush, had no ties to the victim and a motive had not yet been determined.
I know I can't accept this, but I know I have to accept this.
But with Wednesday's chaos and crime tape giving way to candlelight and tears, acceptance seemed harder than ever.
It was an accident. This was a senseless act of violence that should have never happened.
Tonight, as friends and strangers came together in this parking lot, we enjoyed song and prayer. We heard from both families of the victims, and both pled with anyone that would listen to put an end to this violence. Kroger, meanwhile, set to reopen here at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Reporting live for you tonight, I'm Lauren Adams, WLKY News.
All right, let's go back to the shooting. As the shooter was fleeing the store, he was confronted by an armed citizen in the parking lot. Now, that man spoke exclusively to WLKY today, but requested to not show his face on camera. Dominique tells us that he was walking into Kroger with his wife to get cupcakes for his son's birthday. He heard gunshots and then came face to face with Gregory Bush. He saw Bush reloading his gun. That's when he realized he was the shooter and chose to draw his weapon and fire at Greg Bush.
We looked at each other. I communicated with him. I asked him, is everything okay? I didn't really know nothing from there. He didn't say nothing, and that's how it went.
Dominic apologizes to anyone he may have put in harm's way and says that he only fired at the suspect to protect himself and his wife.
Just minutes before Wednesday's shooting, police said Bush had, for reasons still unknown, tried entering First Baptist Church of Jeffersontown. The church administrator tells WLKY their surveillance video shows Bush trying 3 different doors to gain entry to the church before giving up and ultimately, according to police, ending up at Kroger.
Just total shock that something like this would be happening here at our front door. And I'm just thankful to God that he was protecting us and that our doors were secure.
At that time, about 8 people were inside the church, but an hour before, about 70 people had been there for services.
And the family of shooter Gregory Bush, well, they're speaking out and reaching out to the victims' families. WLKY interviewed Bush's brother at their parents' home near Watterson Trail. He apologized to the families of the 2 victims and said that he doesn't understand why his brother would target innocent people at a grocery store. WLKY has also learned Greg Bush has a history of diagnosed mental illness. According to court records, he was ordered to surrender his guns after a domestic assault guilty plea in 2009. Bush's brother had this message for the Stollard and Jones families.
As bad as we feel, we can't imagine what they're going through, and we just really can't say sorry enough, and that's all I can say.
Court records show Gregory Bush's 2009 assault conviction stemmed from a violent fight with his elderly parents. At the time, he was accused of punching his dad in the face and grabbing his mom by the throat. Gregory Bush was arraigned today on 2 counts of murder as well as 10 counts of wanton endangerment. He's being held on a $5 million bond. His next hearing is scheduled for next month.
While police continue investigating, some wonder if the shooting could have had another motivation. Even some of the victims' family members voiced concerns the shooter could have been racially motivated. Now, multiple groups, including the Kentucky Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, are calling for that possibility to be investigated.
Every year that we hope things will get better, looks better, but to happen to be a victim of such things that we grew up knowing, that is alone is wow, it's not real, you know, and it's becoming to be real today.
I don't care how frivolous you think it is or how you think it doesn't matter. Lives can be saved because this is not just a local issue, it's a national issue.
Tonight, the Louisville Urban League also called for an investigation, saying because of the posts of the alleged perpetrator and the comments he made to a man in the parking lot of the grocery, we thought it necessary to clearly state our desire and support for a hate crime investigation. The FBI is already investigating the incident.
Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher felt a personal connection to the shooting. Maurice Stollard is the father of the city's chief equity officer, Kelly Watson. He called on leaders to take action on gun violence.
I'm angry because it seems like none of these murders and massacres hit close enough for many of the people in the position to do something to prevent some of this madness.
The mayor also recognized Wlky Jones with a statement that reads in part, "The people of Louisville have learned about Mrs. Jones's kind heart, her career as a public servant with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and the many family members and friends who are grieving today. I join them in mourning her loss and celebrating her life."
We will never say goodbye to John's kindness.
Why saying goodbye to a beloved officer? See how family and friends are remembering Sergeant John Lesher.
Plus, more explosive packages found as the number of threats grow. Find out how investigators are trying to track down whoever's behind it.
Cloudy, cool conditions on this Thursday evening, but the rain is getting a little bit closer. Not much happening around Louisville right now, but just off to the west and southwest, it's starting to fill in. We'll talk about a wet Friday and just how long those rain chances will last on your 7-day. That's coming up next.
Right now, this is WLKY News at 11.
A Louisville teacher is challenging Republican Phil Moffitt for Kentucky House District 32, which stretches from St. Regis Park to Glenville Hills. Democrat Tina Bojanowski is among a large group of educators running this year. She wants to repeal the charter school legislation approved by Moffitt and other Republicans and fight for more funding for education. Moffitt points to a record level of SEEK funding, to the primary source of funding for Kentucky's public schools, as well as the record amount of pension funding approved this year.
I think that there are several of us who are really going to work it hard, and we're going to make a voice, because just once again, I think education is the cornerstone of our democracy, and we need people speaking up for our democracy in the House.
But if they look at our actions, I think it'll be very clear to them that we're working as hard as we can to live up to our obligations and make sure the teachers are fully funded and appreciated.
Moffitt is a Louisville real estate agent who once ran for governor. Bojanowski works in special education at Watterson Elementary.
Kentucky Attorney General Andy Beshear is filing an 8th lawsuit related to the state's opioid epidemic. Today, Beshear announced the lawsuit against Teva in Fayette Circuit Court. He says the Pennsylvania-based pharmaceutical manufacturer persuaded doctors to write prescriptions of its fentanyl-based cancer drugs for off-label use.
Teva's products were approved for a narrow use to treat cancer and end-of-life pain. But for Teva, that was not profitable enough. So Teva intentionally promoted its deadly opioids for non-cancer, non-end-of-life pain treatment.
Fentanyl is 50 times more potent than morphine. State figures show it was a factor in more than half of Kentucky's 1,500 overdose deaths last year. And as the fight against opioids continues, Attorney General Jeff Sessions is coming to Kentucky to speak about the federal government's latest efforts.
A new strike force will be composed of 12 additional opioid fraud prosecutors, with each with their own team of federal law enforcement agents. They will help us find the doctors and pharmacists, professionals of all kinds who are flooding our streets with drugs, and put them behind bars.
Sessions will speak at the U.S. Attorney's office in Louisville tomorrow afternoon.
A longtime Louisville police sergeant was laid to rest today. Nearly 1,000 people gathered at Southeast Christian Church to say their final goodbyes to Sergeant John Lesher. Lesher passed away at his home over the weekend. He was with the Louisville Police Department for 17 years. A slideshow featured pictures of him with his family, friends, and fellow law enforcement. Many describe Lesher as a witty, lighthearted, and fun-loving.
That, too, is what has defined our boy, his love for laughter, his love for making people laugh and have a good time wherever he could. His huge heart made of gold that drew you in and made you want to be his friend above all else.
Sergeant Lesher leaves behind a wife of 21 years, 2 kids, and many family members and friends.
A local personal injury attorney who's being sued for stealing from Hispanic clients may have victimized more people. 3 lawsuits allege Andrew Clooney settled insurance cases without his client's knowledge, then pocketed the payout money. After our story aired, the law firm representing the victims received calls from more than 15 people who claimed they had similar experiences with Clooney. The lawsuits are seeking compensatory and punitive damages. U of L Athletic Director Vince Tyre is standing behind football coach Bobby Petrino. Social media is filled with Cards fans outspokenly supporting a change in the head coaching job. Many want former U of L quarterback Jeff Brom in that position. Brom is doing a great job as the head coach at Purdue. Louisville goes into Saturday's game hosting Wake Forest with a 2-5 record. Petrino's in danger of finishing his first losing season here in 9 years on the job. But Tyre says Petrino has not forgotten how to coach overnight.
He's shown the ability to take us to levels we've never been before. I mean, some of our best moments in this program have been under his guidance, and as I said, I think he's still viewed as one of the best offensive minds in college football.
Louisville's athletic department has been financially challenged in the last couple of years. Petrino has a $14 million buyout in his contract. Jeff Brom has a $5 million buyout in his contract at Purdue.
For the first time, travelers in Louisville can fly directly to California. Today, the Regional Airport Authority announced American Airlines will offer nonstop flights from Louisville to Los Angeles. Tickets go on sale in November. The service starts in April. The Louisville Regional Airlift Development says it will help businesses in the region.
It is a big deal because the market out there is so big
It's going to open up a lot of business opportunities for companies located throughout this region, not just Louisville, but Elizabethtown, Southern Indiana, West Central Kentucky, the whole 9 yards.
It's getting better here. There are now nonstop flights to 32 cities with plans to expand direct service to Boston, San Francisco, and Seattle in the near future.
For the second time in 2 days, an evacuation at the Time Warner Center in Manhattan as suspicious packages were found. An all clear has been given. Yesterday, a bomb was mailed to CNN's Manhattan headquarters in that building. Is one of 10 sent to Democrats and critics of President Trump. All had a return address of Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Investigators say they're making progress tracking down the mailing locations, focusing on South Florida. They're now combing through video footage at mail facilities and stores.
You have over 600,000 postal employees out there right now, so we have their eyes and ears looking for these packages. I will say, in the postal network, we have found nothing in the last 8 hours.
None of the devices detonated. It's unclear if the devices were poorly designed or if they were just meant to scare the recipients. All are being examined at FBI lab in Quantico.
Now, your WLKY weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi.
Okay, weather-wise, all is quiet out there, at least for now. We have cloudy skies. It's cool, but that rain is getting a little bit closer. And get ready, we're going to have an extended period of light rain and drizzle kicking in later on tonight and right through your Friday. 54 degrees on the outside right now. Humidity is 64%, a southeast wind between 5 and 10 miles an hour. There's your radar scan around the metro. Not much happening. We'll pull out. There it is. It's developing, expanding, now crossing over the Wabash into southwestern Indiana, arcing back off towards the southeast, right towards Litchfield right now, just south of Hardinsburg. And this little batch of rain continues to kind of expand and move off to the east and northeast. Part of a larger area of rain that extends from the upper Midwest back down into the deep south. We have a strung out storm system that's starting to form. A little bit of jet stream energy, which is now giving rise to a storm system that's developing just off to the west and southwest. A couple of waves of low pressure, and this guy will continue to work its way east across the deep south the next 24 hours. And that one little wave of low pressure right across sections of Kentucky. The bottom line is we've got some wet weather on the way later on tonight through tomorrow. Let's break it down for you on the Futurecast. Got a great handle as to what's going on right now with the scattered light showers southwest of Louisville. Those continue to expand, kind of increase somewhat. And by late tonight, just about the entire viewing area having high chances for some light rain. Allow extra time to get to your destinations on your Friday morning. You know how it is during a morning commute when there's rain around. It can get pretty hairy out there. We're going to be dealing with pockets of light rain and drizzle, not only in the morning, but right through midday and also into the afternoon. This isn't going to be real heavy rainfall. It's going to be light, but it's going to be fairly persistent. Keeping temperatures cool, too. Highs just in the low 50s for much of the afternoon, and that means those area high school football games tomorrow evening, a little bit on the damp side, a little bit of light rain and drizzle as temperatures hold very close to 50 from kickoff until the end of the ball games. All right, Saturday, your weekend forecast. Could be a little bit of drizzle in the morning, then dry for the afternoon, cool at 54. Warmer on Sunday, but the trade-off, another chance for showers, a pretty good chance, midday through early afternoon. Here's the forecast in detail. Cloudy, cool with light rain developing as the night wears on, your low 48. We start there in the morning and just kind of hover in the low 50s during much of the day with pockets of light rain and drizzle on your Friday. 7-day forecast calls for 54 Saturday, a few more scattered showers as we head on into Sunday, and then we dry it out and also warm it up a little bit. We're 58 and 68 Monday, Tuesday. Unfortunately, Halloween, a little question mark right there right now. We'll watch it close, but at this time, there's a chance for a little bit of light rain here later Wednesday and Wednesday night.
You had us all excited last night about we could wear princess outfits and ballerina.
You know, the good news is we have plenty of time to watch it. And just
You're
as fast
switch back around.
Change. That's
just
right.
as fast
Everybody's
as we put
rushing
it in.
to buy some furry thing now to wear for Halloween. You've got them going light, heavy,
Look
light.
at it like this. You'll be covered no matter the weather, right?
There you go. That works.
Don't come up with your costume just yet.
Good advice.
Thanks, Jay.
Well, coming up, the Assumption Rockets chase another Kentucky State title and national championship as well. Sports is next.
Live with Fred Cowgill, this is WLKY Sports.
Hello again, everybody. High school playbook, Kentucky Prep volleyball going into this weekend. Assumption is once again the team to beat for the state championship in the Bluegrass. Assumption volleyball is ranked #1 in the USA, going for a 6th national championship in its history. It's 4 wins from a 21st Kentucky state title in the last 27 years. The state tournament starts tomorrow at Valley. The Rockets, who have a 53-match win streak, are also 4 wins from a 3rd ever unbeaten season for Hall of Fame head coach Ron Cordes.
You know, I really haven't. I've been kind of waiting to see, because when you're undefeated, there's always that factor in there. And I think this year, I've been kind of waiting for it to pop up and maybe tighten us up a little bit, things like that. But I haven't seen it.
Today, UK basketball is ranked 2nd in the new USA Today coaches preseason poll, behind only Kansas. The season opener with 3rd-ranked Duke less than 2 weeks away. With this in mind, tomorrow night at 7, Kentucky hosts a preseason exhibition with Transy. The sense of urgency starting to grow for head coach John Calipari. The details, a starting lineup, rotations for specific needs, but he loves that he's choosing from strength.
I've really enjoyed this because they just tell us how you want us to play. And they come every day and they're trying, and they're showing us stuff every day that they can do. They're learning and growing, and it's just anybody that's watched me coach and wow, they make me who I am.
U of L basketball has been picked to finish 11th in the ACC, that in a preseason media poll today. Duke is the favorite to win the league's championship. Louisville has just 10 scholarship players. At the league's media day yesterday, first-year head coach Chris Mack said he will learn more about his cards in Sunday's preseason exhibition hosting Bellarmine.
It is what it is. I think we'll learn a lot from it. I think every experience that you have, both positive and negatively, you learn from it. If you don't, you're not getting better. So I'm excited to see how Sunday plays out.
With Louisville rebuilding, the Knights, meantime, are ranked as high as #1 in the country in Division II, led by preseason All-American Adam Eberhard. Bellarmine and head coach Scotty Davenport are loaded. Return a half-dozen Knights who were starters last winter on a team that won 29 of 32 games, plus now add 2 Division I transfers.
It's a tremendous opportunity, not just for Bellarmine basketball, but most importantly, Bellarmine University and this community. I mean, I'm biased, but I think we have the greatest college sports fans of all sports in the entire country. And this is a day where everybody can appreciate the game.
U of L football star Bilal Powell is recovering tonight from successful surgery to repair a bulging disc in his neck. The New York Jets say the running back is expected to make a full recovery. The 29-year-old has played for the Jets his entire 8-year NFL career. One of the most productive backs in the club's history, has run and caught for over 5,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. And the Breeders' Cup 2-day, 14-race, $30 million World Thoroughbred Championships are at Churchill Downs next week. The Distaff is the all-star race for the best fillies on dirt at a distance. The contenders include Midnight Bazoo, who was 3rd in this year's Kentucky Oaks, a 2-time Grade 1 winner for trainer Steve Asmussen.
Consistency and attitude and training has been wonderful, and she's been a lot of fun to be around. And hopefully we can finish off the year with her best race yet.
That is sports.
Thank you, Fred.
Breaking the cycle of poverty. Next on WLKY, see how a special sale kicked off a big event that's close to my heart. I'm going to get these guys involved in it next year. We'll tell you about it right after this. Hey, tonight marked the official kickoff to Wine, Women, and Shoes 2019. WLKY is the proud media sponsor of the annual fundraiser, which has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for Family Scholar House. Kathy Dykstra is the woman behind this successful nonprofit.
Wine, Women, and Shoes provides critical funding that makes it possible for us to deliver the programs for single parents, as well as for foster alumni and all of our children.
Tonight's event is Kendra Gives Back. 20% of all sales tonight at the specialty boutique Kendra Scott were donated to support programs and services of Family Scholar House, which helps families break the cycle of poverty through education. Wine, Women, and Shoes is Friday, March 1st. You guys get your best shoes ready. I want you to join me this year.
We're there.
Those flip-flops ready. Thanks for joining us.
Stephen Colbert's next.